Headley is draining her cup of bile to the bitter dregs. That's my take on it, but you may have your own.
Are you talking about... So, you will remember, people watching, that this week, or last week, somebody called Ngozi Fulani, who runs a domestic violence charity, was and she was at an event by the Queen... Do we call her the Queen or the Queen Consort? I don't know, whatever. Camilla was running this thing on raising the temperature around violence against women, which the Queen called a global pandemic. And, and in fact, I should just say, I was going to wear my orange ribbon today because November the 25th to December the 10th are the 16 days of action globally for the United Nations declared against violence against women. Anyway, this woman, so you'll remember that Lady Susan Hussey...
Yeah.
Who was
it's not been off this channel for the last 10 days, I should tell you. So well, you won't need to remind people of all the details.
So here's my thing, is that there's a way of asking this question. So if you look at the population of Britain, most people who are not white have come here, their families have come here since 1945. So there is always a story, and that's a fair enough bit of curiosity. But to ask 6 or 7 times, play with somebody's hair and all that...
Why does she change her name, wearing traditional tribal African dress?
No, hang on a second. That's not my point. My point is that there is a sensitive way. So classically, you know, people say to gay people...
listen, Simon.
People say to gay people, who's the boy and who's the girl?
This isn't the story. The story is that she's suffered horrific abuse. Because otherwise you're addressing a story that happened 10 days ago.
OK, she suffered abuse because that's what people do these days. If you stick your head above the parapet, and if black people stick their head above the parapet, it actually turns out that felt racist to me. Now, then we have to have a process where we decide whether
Doesn't
it's...
it feel like
a
very familiar thing, though, that somebody kind of does something controversial and goes, oh, my God, I've been horrifically abused. I've been on Twitter all the time. All I've seen is people kind of going, you've got an old woman sacked. I don't think that was necessary.
No, it wasn't.
No, I think the more important lesson from this is just the central idea that when you ask people questions, you need to be sensitive about what they mean. Your intention and your effect. There can be a gap between them.
If you're an 83-year-old lady in
No, don't use age.
People are...
No. My friend Judith, I'm going out to lunch with next week, is 94 years old. We're celebrating her 94th birthday. She doesn't do things like that. She's sensitive because she's been around enough stuff to understand that actually these questions are sensitive. That's all you're asking. And this woman, she may be 84, but she's a lady in waiting. She should have manners. She didn't have manners. That's what it comes down to.
You know something? I think Simon is right. Well, you used whatever you said, which is that people have a story, and people want another story. And the fact is that this woman, this lady, whatever, Susan, she was interested. If racists are not interested, if I see somebody that I'm a racist...
She was clearly being presented by a woman who was performatively African.
Yeah, but and not only that... Can I speak?
Yeah, but then when you say...
Hello.
Well, can I just...
Sorry, let Lewis speak. He has an adult girl on this.
I have nothing to say.
Sorry, mate. Go on, speak it. Say your truth.
No, my truth is that if she were racist, she wouldn't have been there. It's an anti-racist thing. She wouldn't have touched the woman. Supposedly she touched the person's hair. She spent all this time talking to her. She was interested in her.
Hang on. Let's take the word racist out because it's so incendiary. I'm saying it's deeply insensitive when you say to somebody who's black, you would never say to a white person, where do you come from? And if they said you would.
And if they said Hackney and they were white, I would say, where's that from then?
I'm just saying...
I would.
I know.
Assuming
what I'm
finished.
saying, Simon, is just listen to what I'm saying and criticise that.
Yeah.
OK?
I am. I'm saying I would. If it was a white person, I would ask where they were from.
What I'm saying is the way in which you ask the question that has... intention does not match the effect. If you say a white person is to a black person, where do you come from? The implication is that they don't belong here.
It's the way she was dressed, and she has an extraordinarily African name. It's obviously...
This Simon is right. In America, it's perfectly acceptable to ask where you're from. It means something. Maybe she's been watching American TV and just thought, I'm going to be more...
You just have to be careful.
Finishing the section, Lewis with meta news in